anger isn't the problem. The problem is when we let anger take charge instead of us controlling the anger. But when we learn to manage the anger, the same energy is turned into purpose, power, and confidence. Managing anger doesn't mean you suppress it. No, you are just transforming it. It is about responding and not reacting. When we let anger take charge, we lose peace, clarity, and the respect of people around us. So what should we do? We should control our anger. But how? That's the question around us. So there are few holistic approaches which I do. Now when we say our mind controls our emotions, it's not about that never to get angry or sad or overwhelmed. It's about choosing calm when chaos is easier. You know, calmness is superpower because it helps you to think wisely, act confidently, and lead effectively. So next time when you have your anger, close your eyes, take a deep breath, and choose your response. The strongest people are not the ones who never get angry. They are the ones who know how to respond when others lose control. It's about knowing when to speak and when to remain silent. So, I'm sharing a personal story of mine, which my mom instilled in me when I was 8 years old. Having lost my father at an early age, I felt a deep void in my heart of not having a parent and reacted angrily in most of the situations. I call it a namaste and thank you story that weaves together principles of anger management with insight from scientific research. And this story is for real. And if you all can resonate because it gives an insight into validated physiological and psychological principles of mindfulness meditation, breathing techniques, cognitive techniques to illustrate how to manage your anger and turn it into calmness. So I start with my story. I lived in Guwahati with my mom, my elder sister and my brother. My elder sister got married early, so I was with my mom. So every time a situation cropped up, I reacted very angrily and let frustration rule my day, which inherently strained my relations at home, work, and community. One day, my inability to manage my reaction and venting out loud, I led myself to a very difficult path of despair and regret. So feeling lost, I approached one of the most important person of my life, my mom, very well known for her peaceful demeanor and greetings with divinity, which means I salute the divinity within you. Ma listened very politely and very passionately as I poured out my feelings. Instead of giving quick fixes or admonishments, she introduced me to holistic approaches combined with mindfulness meditation, breathing exercises, and a shift in perspective. Anger, she said, is like a storm. You have to understand it, observe it, and let it pass without judgment, she said. So I started doing meditation regularly and mentally said namaste when my feelings arose and thank you as they came down. Over the years, I noticed the physical sensations around me, a racing heart, tightened muscles, and swelling thoughts that accompanied my reaction to anger without being overwhelmed by them. I started greeting my emotions very gently, as if almost acknowledging an old friend. But I did not let them control my emotions. Science has long validated these techniques, and the scientists who support mindfulness meditation, breathing techniques, and cognitive behavioral techniques, they assert that these activities can reduce the activities of the amygdala, brain's fear and anger center, accompanied by prenatal cortex, which is responsible for rational thinking and impulse control. Participants in mindfulness meditation and breathing techniques always report lower levels of cortisol and anger. This supported my slow transformation and my practice of pausing, breathing, and mentally saying namaste and thank you to my feelings now, and even then supported scientifically supported principles of cognitive behavioral reappraisal, a way to reinterpret negative emotions. At work, when a stressful situation arose, I closed my eyes and breathed deeply, because that situation would have typically set off my anger at that time. But by saying thank you and namaste to my feelings helped me. I totally understood the eternity of the moment and understood that anger held a deeper message for me. Gradually, my responses shifted. I started in calm communications, acknowledged my triggers, and started collaborating with my colleagues. This did not happen overnight, but with persistence and self-compassion, I cultivated resilience in the face of anger. The universe always has your back. I turned to spiritualism, and over the years, I understood anger is not something to be eradicated or suppressed. It is something to be understood and respected. And this was not just backed by personal experience, but by scientific methods of mindful meditation, breathing exercises, cognitive behavioral techniques. My journey, it reminds me, of that anger has to be embraced with awareness. The scientific studies of mindfulness, neuroplasticity, and cognitive behavioral techniques show that with regular practice, brain can learn newer and healthier ways to process anger. Yes, you can always process your anger. At this moment, when I said namaste to my feelings, I understood the sacred potential within myself, even in moments of anger, and developed a path to inner peace through modern science and ancient wisdom. And when I say thank you to my feelings, I feel complete and whole, all in charge of myself. This narrative blends the philosophy behind namaste and thank you, acknowledging the divinity or worth in every emotion. It illustrates that contemplative practices combined with evidence-based strategies can transform explosive emotions into opportunities for growth and connection. This personal story of mine, I wish, becomes a inspiring reminder to my community that peaceful transformation is always possible, no matter how turbulent the emotions are. Now, anger is valid, isn't it? We all get angry, right? So anger is valid. But how to control it? Anger is not wrong. It's a signal that something inside is crying for care, attention, and boundaries. So what should you do? Should you suppress it, or should you just burst out? In both cases, you are going to suffer. So what I do, anger management in my way, a few of the practices that I do is I take a pause and I breathe. I take a silence power. I inhale calmness and I exhale chaos. I do mindfulness meditation, 5 to 10 minutes, just to process what are the emotions, what are the thoughts I am going through. I do that. I write it out. I change conjunctive reframing. I change the way I look into a situation. I write it out. What are the triggers that have done to me? I write them out. I scribble. I art it out. I tear papers. I do that. I do visualization technique. Not when I am angry, but just when I do it every day. I think of a very calm situation that helps me, that gives me happiness. I think of that part. I do gratitude journal to counterbalance the effects of anger. I write points that make me grateful, that give me happiness. And believe me, I started with 5 lines and I write 5 pages now. I do some breathing exercises. Yes, I take a long breath in and breathe out. I do some breathing exercises. 2 of the things I have incorporated recently in my anger management technique is forgiveness. It has taught me, forgive the person, forgive the situation that triggers you. It sounds very weird, right? Forgive the person. But why should I give that person the power to make me angry? No, I will never give that person the power to give me angry, because I am more than enough for myself. So what I do is, I forgive the situation, I forgive the person. And it's a conscious practice. You have to practice it regularly. And the last one is love. Because at the core of every emotion, it is the longing to be loved. Some people are angry with us because we don't give them the importance they deserve. So love can do wonders. That's what I do. Universe always has a back, as I said earlier. Just now it happened because the universe always tests you. Whether whatever you preach, you practice or not. It tests you. Just before some time, my son had to go somewhere and make a payment. So he doesn't use Google Pay. So he messaged me, Mama, please pay this one. At one time I felt, I'm in this. So should I have been angry at that time? No, what I did, I closed my eyes and breathed deeply and said, no, he needs it. And I have the power to pay. Financial freedom also I have. So that's how it happened just as. So universe always tests you. It tests you in different ways. So this is anger management my way. Not to suppress, but to transform. Not to break others, but to build myself. because I am not the anger. I am the power. I am Banasree Chakravarty Borah that rises from it. Thank you and namaste.